We're recapping Manchester United's loss against Arsenal in the league. Ruben Amorim's first defeat as Manchester United manager. Scrappy match. United didn't create much. We were organized. We kind of suffered throughout the game. They were very. They're potent off corners. You know, they're like a fancy Stoke City. Obviously, they're much further ahead of us around development. They've been with their coach for 5 years. The squad is humming. You know, they came twice right behind City to be runners-up in the league, and you know they out XG'd us. I thought the team looked relatively organized, but we couldn't create anything. We couldn't go through the middle of the pitch. Bruno was ineffective. He didn't have a great day. And yeah, it's a little bit of a wake-up call. It's a little bit of a reminder, as he mentioned, Ruben even, the storm is coming. That was a little bit of the storm. But I thought United, even though we didn't create much, I thought we showed some fight. I thought we showed some heart. I thought, and the organization, you could kind of see what we were trying to do. It's funny. It's like we lost, but we looked organized, and even the guys on Peacock were like, hey, you can see what this team's trying to do, even if it's not effective. But either way, it's a loss, but we move on. We lick our wounds. How we feeling? How we doing, sir?
I mean, for me, this was a positive, you know, and this is where we get back to the watching the last era being like, this is just negative and bad football. You could lose and play well. And what we've seen under Ruben Amorim is the way he's been able to get this group of players to play a system and look like a proper football team in like 4 games is incredible. And I take away a huge positive from this game. It's like, we're not that far off it. Look at the back line. He had to move Mazraoui. We're talking about Malacia out there against Saka, one of the best players in the league, and we were able to shut him down. I was just looking to make sure we weren't going to concede 3, 4 in maybe the first 30 minutes. The fact that the midfield held, the shape held, the back 3 was sound is pretty incredible given the rotation. We don't even have like a set 11. This manager has nothing. No players. He's brought in no transfers, and he's already getting us to play at a certain level. And it's like a real aha moment when you see the system, the idea that Ruben Amorim is coming into Old Trafford with, and it's just completely opposite than the prior regime, where we couldn't tell you after 2 years what we were trying to do out there. And now all of a sudden, like, if you look at it, we got it. And I see no reason why we can't go to the Emirates next year and win. I think Arsenal comes out of this game with a bad taste in their mouth because they're like, this is a bad United side. We're starting their history, and we really didn't play them off the park. And we had to use set pieces to score. I was going to say Amorim can fix everything except set piece defending.
Well, I mean, they are one of the best teams in the league. They are the best team in the league at scoring off set pieces. I have to echo your sentiment 100%. It's like, you came into this game, and honestly, you don't feel that far off it. Obviously, the XG, they took us to us, but, 75% of their XG was created off corners, and they're very effective in that regard. But open play, they had a couple good chances, but it was all from corners. United to shore that up. And, at the same time, I have to agree with you. You can see what United's trying to do. You could see it from the game one. Ruben Amorim's first game in, you knew exactly what the back 3 was trying to do. It looked organized. It looked organized against Arsenal, and I have to agree with you. I think if United had gone into this game and he was like, you know what, I'm gonna throw out my my principles and just try and win this game, I think we would have a better chance playing kind of our old format, the 4-2-3-1. But I'm glad he's stuck with his guns. This is the future. And you're right. It's like we're not too far off it, but it's a frustrating game because we couldn't get at them. They're a better team than us, but they're not that much better. And we have some work to do. But
we frustrated them.
It was frustrating,
and we played proper football. I mean, like that's the one thing I was like, under the last regime, like we'd win a game, and I'd be like, what was that? That we couldn't hold the ball, we couldn't dictate play. Like we had a good shape. Arsenal had struggled playing through us. At the end of the day, we can't go from defending to attacking in a seamless transition, and that's kind of where you're seeing the issues. That's going to get better over time. Ultimately, you're seeing this manager figure it out. Bruno in the 2 with Ugarte, like it worked, and he's trying it again. You're seeing, all right, Malacia, that's like a brave play to bring him out. But no, don't worry, we got Mazraoui, our best guy out there helping you with Saka, and then that worked.
It was effective.
It's incredible to see just if you look at the manager and how he's like shaping this team and making calls and then trying things and it works and then trying them again. It's exactly the opposite of like the square peg, round hole, just slamming it. Like, what are we doing? And so I just really like that Amorim iterates. He's brave. He tries things. He switches it up at halftime. He makes early subs, and it's working. That's the most incredible part, is it's literally working. I think this is a huge positive for this game, sir. And quick PSA for the podcast. You like the American Red Devils. For fans, by fans. We're giving you that Muppet take from the couch. Now we're on YouTube. Please check out our YouTube channel, American Red Devils. On YouTube, please like, subscribe, and comment. It's the only way small channels, small independent fan channels like us get found. So help other Muppets out. Like, subscribe, hack the algo. Also, check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/American Red Devils. This is how you can go even further to support the podcast. We have over 100 Patreon members. They're the creme de la creme of the American Devils community. We do an extra special behind-the-scenes episode every month. Check it out. Join the best Manchester United community out. Also, grab some merch, hoodies, shirts, scarves. We got the Eric Ten Hag Red Army scarf, Viva Garnacho. The obviously Love United, Hate Glazer scarf is a huge seller on the store. Grab some merch, support the pod. Also, check out our website at americadevils.com. Sir, tell them about iTunes reviews.
iTunes reviews and 5-star reviews in the American Devils podcast. It's a great way to support the pod. It helps us get found organically by other top Muppets like yourself, and we're still giving away free merch. All you have to do is write that 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify and send a screenshot to AmericanDevils@gmail.com with your mailing address, and I'll personally pick, pack, and ship some free air and gear. Send it right to your door anywhere in the world, sir. Let's get into the match. It was a rainy night in North London at the Emirates Stadium. Let's get into it.
All right, we're looking at Onana in net, Mazraoui, Maguire, De Ligt, back three, Malacia, Bruno, Ugarte, Delo, midfield, Garnacho on the left, Hojlund up top, Mount on the right. Tons of changes for the manager. How are you feeling?
I like this manager. I like our manager, man. He's got big cojones, and he was going for it, right? But I think Brandon Fernandes in the holding role instead of a Casemiro and playing the extra Mason Mount, that shows an attacking intent. I was nervous about Malacia. But like you said, in the game, Maz actually ended up being a huge help just to kind of like shore him up and make sure he didn't get cooked too much by Saka. So all things considered, given the suspensions, given that Luke Shaw went down injured again, I didn't hate the 11 by any means. So what did you think when you saw it?
I was a little concerned with Malacia out there. Maguire coming in, I think that's a great shout. He plays in the 3 for England, looks very good, although he's on the left side. But if you put Maguire out there, he's going to get cooked. So I like the Maz switch up. Also, Mason Money Mount, shout out to him coming in. Like, this manager's got ideas, and he's flexible. And think about Arteta trying to figure out who he's going to play. And I feel like that just adds an element to United when, like, is he going to play Bruno in the 3? Is he going to play him in the middle of the park? And he dominated to start the game. So Bruno had, like, a good first half, but obviously we don't have the intensity to keep that up throughout the entire game.
And I also think, I was rewatching the game last night, what a masochist I am, we played a little scared. We came into this game, and I think, like, we could have gotten on Arsenal, and we were afraid to play up the pitch. We were afraid to play in between tight spaces. We were nervous playing out the back. And we gained a little confidence in the second half, but then they scored that goal, and I think we lost some momentum. But there was definitely a little bit like we need to work on the mentality. We've talked about that for years. The mentality, I think, showed early in that first half because I think we didn't have the confidence to kind of try and take it to him, even though from a lineup perspective, that seemed to be what Ruben Amorim wanted to do.
8th minute, Arsenal dangerous from corners. Partey with a free header, but he makes a meal of it. 25th minute, Zinchenko hits a volley off the post. I mean, they were getting the real chances, but we were getting on the ball and not like it took us a while to get comfortable. I felt like, around the 20th minute, we started growing into the game a little bit when we didn't just like give away 2 or 3 like we probably would have in the past. 43rd, best chance of the half for United. Mount hooks the ball wide, falls to Delo, and this one I thought should have been better from the Portuguese winger. But first half in at 0-0. We're going toe-to-toe with them. You know, it's not like Arsenal are amazing, and I felt like this is advantage United. They're supposedly in a title race. Liverpool was drawing Newcastle at this point. The urgency was on them, and they did come out with some piss and vinegar in the second half. That's really when the game changed. We did sub Ahmad for Malacia. It looked like a bit of an injury, and Arsenal would get their goal in the 53rd minute, unfortunately.
Front post. Ended up in the back of the net. They have scored, and it's Timber. So, no, Gabriel, no problem.
It's another great delivery, Martin. It really is. Watch them all at the back post. They come running across in amongst those blue shirts, and all it takes is a little glance. Just get your head on it, and you're a couple of yards out. And that's exactly what happens.
What the fuck is Hojlund doing there? I mean, like, that's like he's like a 6-foot Dane, like literally not even jumping. It obviously deflected ball, but you gotta get it. Like, there's no way Timber should get his head on this.
No, the thing is, like, they're the most dangerous from corners, but the 2 corners they scored off was probably not their best corners, but I think United made a meal of it.
No, this is horrible.
No, it is
Hojlund
because
has to get that out.
Hojlund is 6'2", and the guy Timber is like 5'9", so it's like he should beat him for size.
He's
should
in
be
front
there.
of him. He's literally in front of him.
I agree. He should beat him, sir. But
he
you know
doesn't
what?
play defense full time. Fair to him.
No, but you know what? Everyone's going to have to defend. And if we're going to play a team like Arsenal, who are basically a corner team now, Stoke City, bro, like Stoke City in London.
It doesn't matter if
We're gonna
like
have to
the
work
whole
on it.
they're a corner team and yelling at them and then
I'm not
all
yelling
this
at 'em,
on.
I'm
No,
just
but
saying.
everyone online thinks it's like, here's the thing: when other teams start complaining how you're winning, like you're doing something right.
not
it's just
complaining,
like
I'm just criticizing
everyone
them.
complained about United with the stoppage time and all this stuff, but we were winning. So if they're hitting corners, like we got to defend them.
What have they won, bro? They haven't won shit.
No, but they've been finishing high. They're in the Champions League, I think.
Yeah, but
you
they
know, like
still
they're
won
better
a
than
thing.
us.
Yes,
And
yes,
like the
they
whole
are.
like I know the whole yelling
Cook
that they
'em.
score from corners makes you feel better, but they're winning. They're beating us with it. It's like it's just poor defending. That's just like I look at
Both
I'm like,
goals were
okay, we have a
very-
really tall guy there who the ball is like literally going over his head. He's not really jumping. And then they're scoring from. It's like there's no way you should score on the front post. It just shouldn't happen. It's like high school football. It's like you drop the pass, hits your hands. Like no way, you can't score like that.
We got things to work on. And this is an example of things to work on. Trust me, this game was
This
far
is
from
like,
perfect.
hate you in the hands.
We were
Hojlund,
not.
hate you in the
We were
hands.
not great on the ball. I mean, we
No,
couldn't play out the back. Hold on a
I'm
second.
not upset about this.
No, but it was. Well, the whole point was it was preventable. I think both the goals were preventable.
Absolutely. Sub 59th minute. I like these early subs from the manager, and they have been working. By the way, Xerxes and Lenny Euro coming back.
What a
baby.
player. He looks a-
McGuire
he
and
is a
Garnacho. He's
player.
a good player.
He's a player.
He's a player. 60th minute, Ugarte clears off the line from a corner. Look, they came out in a different gear in the second half. Credit to them. This is when we kind of were tucked tail a little bit. 67th, good header from DeLitt, saved by Raya. And then in the 73rd, they would get another header, sir.
Of course, been some changes in that Manchester United defending as well. Again, it's the deep one. Moreno going in. Ended up deflecting into the back of the net. It's a goal again from a backman. It's William Saliba this time. Talk about turning a corner in a match.
Yeah.
Well, Arsenal have done that.
I mean, they're celebrating like they won
It
the
was-
league.
I mean, this
you
is
know,
why
it's
they've
like, you know.
never won. This is why they haven't won the league in 20 years because they haven't. Dude, act like you've been there. Same with Arteta. I mean, they got it from Arteta. Arteta's so emotional.
Yeah, it's
He's like losing his mind.
Well, that's why they can't hold on to the.
No, that's why they haven't won
now.
shit, and that's why I'm bullish on Ruben Amorim, bro, because he was getting cooked, and he was just like calm, steady. But like you said, another goal that we could very preventable. No one's there. Kind of ricochets off. It's just not great set piece defending.
Yeah, when you want to defend the set piece, you want to block the ball out of the goal, not into the goal. So we got to work on that.
There you go.
79th.
This guy could be a coach.
Anthony
Get him a coaching job.
Antony for Hojlund. Anthony's still like, I feel like he's like the cockroaches after the nuclear holocaust. He won't go anywhere, bro. He's like I'm still here.
Well, you ain't gonna sell him.
That
You ain't
price
selling
tag
him.
is like 86th minute. He had a good chance, didn't play it, didn't score. In the 86th, that's all she wrote. Arsenal 2, Manchester United 0. Arsenal celebrating like they beat a real team. Manchester United should be celebrating because we actually played them pretty well, and without some lucky set piece crappy set piece defending or switching off from United, it should have been a draw. I mean, realistically, there was no like giant chance we gave up. I thought this was going to be like an Arsenal 4 or 5, given the fact we probably couldn't defend or hold our shape. And they, even the stat sheet would show that they had 14 shots. We had 5, 6 shots on target to United's 2. We had almost 50% of the ball, 49% to their 51%. Sir, we played them pretty well. I mean, passes, we had more passes on their turf, 467 to their 463, 86% pass accuracy. It was a good game. It was like, if you watch the shit football over the last 2 years and you saw this, it's incredible we're playing like this 4 games in under this new regime.
Yeah, without a doubt. Especially off the ball, we looked very organized. We looked like, the press was much better. There's a method behind the madness. It's encouraging to see. I think in a game like this, if we were a little bit better defensively and had been with this manager a little longer, even with getting out XG, like he totally could have nicked this game, right?
This is one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah, if they hadn't scored that first goal, I think Ahmad started being much more effective coming in. His substitution in the second half had an impact. And I think like this game could have been had because if you could stop them on the set pieces, United could have gotten a goal.
We're competitive for the league next year. That, in my opinion, like
depending on what happens with City and Arsenal.
So here's what's good. Like I'm just giving you the sneak preview to next year. Is that the Arnie slot?
It's gonna fall apart.
The Arnie slot's gonna fall apart because they got those 3 big contracts. Not gonna land all 3. By the way, Van Dijk's probably the number 1 guy. They're probably gonna sign the brat Salah, who's like yipping about his contract in the middle of a title run. Like they're probably going to sign that guy, the Hollywood. They're going to get rid of the real leader, and then Trent's going to go, and then they're going to be a shambles. Like after, because Van Dijk's like the coach basically at that team.
He's the best player on the team.
City again is going to be in a rebuild. They're probably, or they're going to be relegated. LOL. So like, and then Arsenal's. We should beat them.
Chelsea are frisky. Chelsea are now frisky.
They're frisky, but they're so up and down because they'll probably fire their manager next year, type of thing. I'm just saying, for the first time in a long time, you can look and see the sea parting a little bit, and then you look at this guy already competitive with like Arsenal, who's been like one of the like right up there. And we're nobody. And we got nobodies playing right. We got Malacia at left wing back and Delo at right wing back. That's going to change. And this team is going to be like, you're not even going to recognize it next year, how hard this guy's going to drill us. And I think we're going to be competitive. I really do. I just think he's a force. You can't mess. It's all because of Ruben Amorim. Let's hear from the man.
Carlos comes out into the technical area rather than Andreas Jorgensen, who's the set-piece coach. What's the thinking behind that?
The thinking is that Carlos is responsible for set pieces, different stuff. Andreas is also there to help, and that's it. That's the reason.
And are Arsenal just about the best team you've come up against in terms of corners, set pieces?
I think if you follow Premier League for a long time, you can see that. They are also big players for that. And you can see it in every occasion that Saka and Martinelli has 1-against-1. A lot of times they go outside, they cross. They already know that if the cross is going well, they can score. If it's a corner, they can score. So we have to be better on that situation, but like in every area of our game, we need time to improve also. But you can see in all Arsenal games that every team has problem with that.
Laurie.
Lots of changes tonight, lots of changes within the game. Is that something that you plan in advance? Like how many games in advance are you going to do that kind of stuff? Because I appreciate you've got to rotate and rest players and see who can work in different positions.
It just it's not because I like to change all the time, but we have to have all the squad fit. So, for example, Harry Maguire has a time limit. Time Malacia has a time limit, Mason Mount has a time limit, Lenny Yoro has a really time limit. So we have to manage winning games, different methodology, different way of playing, more meters to press, and tomorrow we have to assess, and the guys that has a little bit risk to some injury, they will not play. So we have to have.
I mean, you can see with Ahmad not playing today. Like, they are not messing around with the minutes and then making sure players don't get hurt. And I like that about this guy. I mean, is there anything, like, his comment midweek he made around, like, he's not able to change the tactics in the game with his captain yet? As in, like, we got plan B, C, and D with the exact roster. Be like, hey, they're building up from the back like this. And he gives, like, the signal, and then the captain tells everybody, and then they adjust. Oof, it's like mid-game.
I want to see that.
The levels that Amorim is coming at this game, I just think that he's the next real deal manager. And it's a miracle they chose Manchester United because he could have gone to any club.
Any club.
He could have gone to any club.
Liverpool wanted him.
Exactly. Liverpool wanted him. West Ham wanted him. City's talking to him. Pep would leave. I'm sure the 115 had to play in that. The reason why Pep stayed, the reason why he wouldn't go there. If you think about the 115, as history books are written, it's going to be, that's the reason we got this guy ultimately at the end of the day. In Ineos, the timing, and then probably the risk. You're not going to go as a coach if you have a legal suit against a team. It's just kind of a weird situation. And then it comes like, okay, United is like, they got some reasonable football guys now. Ashworth, Wilcox, right? Barada. And then they're able to get this guy in. And he just looks like he's going to take us to the promised land if we get there. We used to think a player could bring us. It's like, no, this guy, you talk how he's talking, how he's managing, how he's rotating, the fitness, he's dialed in. And the fact that we lost to Arsenal and he's not happy. It's game 4. Any other manager would be like, hey, we did our best. Like, you could tell their shoulders are light. This guy is not happy we lost.
No, and he has an elite mentality, and he's the type of coach that he's going to bring United back to the promised land. He has something. I couldn't agree with you more, sir. I think he's the real deal, and you see it on the pitch. You know, you see it on the sideline. It's like Arteta losing his shit over nothing. like looks so fucking like rattled, and this guy whose team is playing worse than the other team looks cool as a cucumber. So there's a thoughtfulness to the way he talks about the team, about what he's trying to do, and he's just like. He seems like the perfect mix for what United needs. We need someone who's a man manager, can be a tactician as needed, which I think he's shown. Like these halftime subs have been effective, and at the same time, we need someone who's going to be able to get the most out of what we have because we're not going to have the same amount of cash that we've spent over the last decade. So he's going to have to be, frugal, practical, pragmatic. And that's why even like a Malacia, where he's like, holy shit, he's starting Malacia against Arsenal, against Saka. He's like, yep, because I have to. I need a body.
It shows belief in the player, right? Because that's like Sir Alex Ferguson. It's like the 11s he used to put out, but the reason why he put him out is because he would believe in the players, and that would give them belief. And like you're seeing that with Amorim and the way he said, "Hey, Malacia, that was a good performance, even though he got cooked by this guy from Bodo Glimt." He was better. He defended his player and then gave him more chances, right? And then you're seeing that relationship with the coach and the player, like it makes somebody like want to go out there and like die for you, and that's kind of what Amorim is all about. Looking at the XG, 2.84 to 0.21 for Manchester United. If you look at who was outstanding in the game, progression via carry and pass, Bruno Fernandes dominated the middle of the park as far as passing and progression. Mazraoui did as well. I mean, he beat Odegaard on the other side. That's a stat that we want to look at as United. This is an indication of where Bruno is probably going to play under this manager, which is a surprise that in the 2 that Bruno can really dictate play. The formation was a little lopsided. It makes sense, though. I mean, Arsenal really exploiting the right-hand side of the pitch, but we held the back 3 pretty well. There just wasn't that link up we were talking about earlier. The link from the back line to the midfield to attack. That's kind of where we could get it to Garnacho, but that's where we struggled. The attacking phase.
Yeah, we were good off the ball. There was a lot of sideways passing, and we gave them more chances because every time we try to do anything forward, we'd hook it forward, they get the ball back, or balls into space. They won almost every single one of those. But I think a lot of that was confidence and being confident in this style of play and being confident that, like, hey, this Arsenal team, yeah, they're ahead of us in terms of progression, but we can fucking hang with Arsenal. And we can hang with Arsenal. But we have to think we can hang with Arsenal. I think the manager does, but some of these players, like, they looked a little scared. And I think if we had a little bit more confidence, we could have taken it to them in a bigger way.
Jumping into fan questions here. At IC1, quote, I was pleased with the first 60 to 65 minutes, then our corner defending was bad, but progress was made. Do y'all agree?
I think so. I like I said, I think, John, you said at the beginning of the call, the beginning of the pod, it's like you knew right away, game 1, game 2, what this manager's trying to do. You're like, oh, this new style. It's 3 at the back.
It's football. We're playing football.
I know, but it just all makes sense.
There's shit football.
It makes sense.
Football.
It makes sense. It looks good. It doesn't look good yet, but you know what I mean. Like the
good.
formation is like fluid.
Compared to earlier this year, it looks amazing.
Yes,
it looks like Picasso,
I'm talking about the Arsenal game.
Van Gogh.
I'm talking
It looks
about
beautiful to me. It's like passing, bravery.
There was no there
Ideas.
was not enough bravery against Arsenal. Let's be honest.
Bruno was brave in that. I showed you the stats.
He was not. Yeah, he was effective, but it was not his best game. He lost the ball a couple times. You know, I'm a huge Bruno stan. I think he's better up the pitch, but he'll play all.
He's better in the 2.
No, he's better. He's better than 10.
It's like what he not this year. Like he's not the 10. He's not creating.
I thought we had a bad season. I mean,
no, but what I'm saying is like we need Bruno. Like all great teams need players to adapt to the team, just like Wayne Rooney did. And Bruno controlling the game because he has the range of pass and no one else has it in the system is critical. You know, I love to have the midfielder who could do the job so Bruno could play up the pitch. But like you look at him in there. And he looks a player. Wait till you see Bruno and Kobe. As you kind of, you know, as you age out, he's getting a little older. You kind of have a different responsibility with this team. And like in there, we look so much better than Cass and Ugarte. Like I just feel it's a little shaky. At Sabres Car Guide 9, when Eric Ten Hag got sacked, did the set piece coach go? They are still terrible on set pieces. Hopefully with more time on the training ground, it will help, but this is a basic concept. Moving forward and on to the next.
I do not think he got fired. I think that was like one of the hires that came from Wilcox. I think he's Scandinavian, and I think he's one of the few coaches that stuck around between the regimes because he wasn't an Eric Ten Hag hire. So we got to work on it. It's what they're good at, you know, but we know we got to work on. The thing is, you watch this game and you're like, well, I know we got to fix. We got to fix like being brave on the ball. We got to fix set piece defending. But I thought like open play defending, you know, they were taking Saka on Malacia, who hasn't played in a year and a half, and obviously Maz had a huge role in shoring that up, but like they didn't get much.
So the back three was Delit, Magoo, and Mazraoui. With
Magoo looked
Mazraoui
all right.
playing on the other side and Magoo
Maz
in the
is
middle.
so good. Maz
That
is
was
such
like-
a good player. He's all over the pitch, dude. He's a real signing.
No, he's a real player. At D_Cole18, difference in 5 years with a coach versus 2 weeks. Not a bad result, but definitely not a good one. A good place marker for the team to judge themselves. Couldn't control the pace and flow of the game at all. Midfield and wingbacks need a lot of work with Amorim going forward. This L will be good for us. I feel like it is. It just gives the manager the ammo to kind of like clap up these players a little bit, drive them a little harder. I just really like it. At Crap Football, honestly, credit to Arsenal on the quality of the corners. Every delivery is the most dangerous spot right under the bar. They have had more quality in corners in one game than we've had in a season. So Rashford giveaway for the corner for the second was infuriating. Yeah, it's United's corners. Like we kick them, and it's like I've seen some of the worst corners ever. You know, and Bruno kicks a lot of them. It's just kind of like we're just very like the way we take corners is just like we're never getting a goal. And they're really dangerous. It's a part of the game where like once you're playing well in the open play, like then you can dial in like set pieces, free kicks, stuff like that. There's too many things to fix, and like it's not like Amorim's gonna have a big set piece session with the lads only 2 weeks in, you know.
Yeah, we got to focus on it, but it's not the first priority. It's like let's get better playing on the ball, and then you know we'll work on set pieces. It has been horrible for United for years and years against many managers, but we got to work on that. But like you said, there's bigger fish to fry at the moment.
At Jordan_R, Arsenal corners are a cheat code. Apparently, doesn't feel great to play for 0-0, but we move. Euro is the future. And Espresso United, not bothered. Will only get better from here. Last tweet here. Sirs, let's not overreact to this one. Arsenal was always going to be Amorim's first real test. And honestly, I don't think we played that poorly. It came down to set pieces. Let's learn from this and move on. And Euro looks a player. Like Lenny Euro coming back, it's like a new signing, sir. But his minutes are going to be very limited.
As they should, you know, like even Malacia, maybe it was an injury, maybe it was just like, hey, he gets a half. But the manager, like I said, everything's thoughtful. There's like an apparent intention behind every action that he's doing, and it all makes sense. Lenny Euro, that was the kind of sign. That's an Ineos signing, and that's an Ineos signing to get excited more because there's a reason he's one of the highest rated youngsters. He came in, hasn't played since summer tour when he got injured when he broke his metatarsal, and he looked. No problem.
He's
like,
a dog.
He's a real player. He is it, and he's a great signing, and we should keep making signings like him, like Mazraoui, and those guys are going to take us back, right? Those are the guys of the future.
That is it for the pod. They're coming thick and fast, these matches, so we're going to keep you up during the holiday season. We hope everyone's staying warm, having fun. If you want to support the podcast, check us out, americadevils.com, americadevils.store. Grab some merch, support the pod. Also, patreon.com/AmericaRedDevils. Please like, subscribe on YouTube. Our YouTube stats are like 80% of the people that watch us do not subscribe, so hit the subscribe button, hit like, help us fight the algorithm. They don't want the best Manchester United podcast out there. Sir, give us our top 10 downloads the last 7 days.
Number 1, how you doing? How you doing? Los Angeles, California, Dublin, Ireland, Chicago, Illinois, New York, Melbourne, Australia, Brooklyn, New York, Philadelphia, PA, Oslo, Norway, Manchester, England, and last but not least, Houston, Texas. Appreciate all the American Devils listening week in, week out. Games are coming thick and fast, like John said. Game after game after game over the holiday season, and we will be with you every step of the way. Ruben's Red Army, ready to rock. Let's go. Forest on the weekend. It's going to be a big one. We got to keep climbing up the table.
That has to be a dub. Let's go.
Has to be.